Hey guys, Dom here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Tamriel collection. Probably the last collection that we're going to see in Legends, possibly ever, possibly for just a very long time. But anyway, let's just start looking at the single cards. So first we have Strange Brew, which is an action for intelligence, which transforms a creature in your hand into a random creature which costs 2 more, then reduces its cost by 2. So this is really good, as it does allow you to get much higher up creatures for pretty much free, although it does have the issue of it being random. So if your deck relies heavily on synergy or something like that, there is a chance that, or yeah, the card you hit doesn't work with whatever you're playing. It can be a bit of a pain, but I mean, having a card which costs 2 more for the same price of whatever it was going to be anyway is really good. So I'd say that's one of the best cards of the set. Midnight Burial is an endurance action which has Betray, choose a creature in your deck, create a copy of that creature in your discard pile, and give it +1/+1. If you've got a deck with a lot of resurrection mechanics, yeah, this is just a godsend of a card for it. What else there is really to say, as it's kind of used for that resurrection mechanic, which is seen on a few cards like Reanimate and Foolcreef Defiler. But yeah, other than those few decks though, it's kind of a bit of a waste. Okay, so over to Strength and Willpower. We've got Explore, a 1-cost action, and this allows you to choose either a creature, item, action or support, put a random card of that type into your hand. Again, this is one of those cards where in certain decks, say like a treasure hunt deck, this is really, really nice. It just allows it to hit off those treasure hunt abilities and then be like, woo woo, look at me, I can use this mechanic. But other than that, I don't really see too much of a use of it. I mean, I guess the fact that you could get a really good card, but there's always a chance that you get something terrible, as there's no like condition to the card it draws. No like power condition, anything like that. So yeah, it's alright, I guess, for that very specific kind of synergy. Or if you just want a bit of draw power, maybe, but it's not even drawing from your deck, it's just generating the card. And secondly, we have Feed, not I was about to say Fiend, which is a 6-cost removal, which allows you to have the cards you destroy as keywords. So it's basically just a better Devour. Yeah, it's definitely worth 6. It's a good card, just nice for those removals. Okay, so moving on to Agility and Neutral, we get Obstinate Goat, which is a 2-cost 3/2 summon. If the top card of your deck is an animal, draw it, otherwise put it on the bottom of your deck. Yeah, this is pretty much an animal version of that intelligence card, which is a free one, and if it's an action on the top of your deck, you can draw it. It's alright, I guess, if you have got an animal deck. Obviously, they'd like some draw power, but you're never going to have a deck which is 100% animal, so there'll always be a bit of probability and risk to the card. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. It's decently statted, so even if its ability doesn't go off, you're not going to be too gutted. And in the correct deck, it will go off at least roughly half the time. And secondly, we have Cool Dragon, which is an 8-cost shout, which upgrades all of your shouts and summons a 6 to 8 cost dragon, and obviously the cost of the dragon goes up per Cool Dragon you're using. Now this is really nice because of the upgrade, but the issue is because it's quite a high magic cost, you might have already used quite a few shouts already, so it's not bad. I definitely think it's good in a shout deck, which I might have to make. Okay, so looking at our first triplet tribute cards, we have the Telvanni Death Scythe, which is a 1-cost drain, deal damage to a creature equal to the number of creatures that died this turn. If you're killing a lot of creatures, it's nice, it's a good way of healing, it's a good way of doing a bit of removal, but it will require you to kill a bunch of units. But actually, yeah, Telvanni's all about Betray, isn't it? So they'll be summoning a lot of units and then killing them for actions. So this does have some really nice synergy in Telvanni, but obviously every once in a while you just won't have anything to kill, so you'll be doing like 2 free damage. Not bad, especially for a 1 cost. Especially as like it does mean that if you've killed a bunch of creatures, this could work as a drain removal for only one. So, situational, but really good. And secondly, we have Red Mountain, a support which is ongoing, and it means your creatures with 5 power or more cost 2 less, or yes, in other words, because having 1 Red Mountain out of 3 means that Dagoth, a really powerful card, goes from being a 12 cost to a 10. And that's only one card I'm mentioning. In your deck, you're likely to have a lot more powerful ones as well. So, yep, it's an excellent card, especially for Dagoth. Moving on to House Slarlu and Redoran, we have Delvin Mallory, but not, and Wild Edgeteer, or however you want me to say that, I don't know. So Delvin Mallory, he is also known as Smuggler Underboss, and is a 4-cost 4/3 with Drain. At the end of your turn, if you played 3 cards this turn, Smuggler Underboss is immune to damage until your next turn. Now, Harley's all about playing lots of cards, so something like this is quite nice. But this doesn't make him immune to removal cards. It just makes him immune to damage. I don't know if that works with lethal or not. But it's for a drain unit who's got decent stats. It's not too bad to have. It's like an immune unit. Especially as with Lalu, you can almost most turns guarantee that you're going to get out maybe 3 cards. So yeah, he's definitely a nice choice. And Wildish Tier is a 3-cost 1/1 charge, which when summoned gives all friendly creatures in the... Oh, all friendly creatures, thought it was just the lane. Gain rally for the turn. Yeah, it's nice for like a sudden burst to buff up your hand. I've had a go with it, quite enjoyed it. Don't know what else to say. I think it's cool. So, the Tribunal and the Ebonheart Pact, they get Ordinator of the Armed Civi and Pact Outcast. First of all, Tribunal gets a 2-cost 3/3 guard, which, when exalted for the price of 3, becomes a 5/5 guard. And as long as you don't have an exalted creature in play, he's shackled. So, even at 2 costs, that is a really good stat for a guard. So, if you do exalt him, obviously, that second bit of the effect just gets ignored. But a 5-cost 5/5 guard is... It's alright, it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. But he has nothing else to go for. But obviously, Pact Outcast to the right is a 5-cost 5/5 guard with some other effects. So, that's just something to take into account. Moving on to Pact Outcast. She's a 5/5 Nord. And has guard when summoned, and veterans. You can consume a creature and it gains that veteran ability. Very nice, but does require you to already have some veteran cards in the graveyard. But as it's a 5-cost, you'll probably have a couple by the time you can play it. Okay, so Guildsworn and Daggerfall Covenant. Guildsworn gets the Ultra Spellcasting, a 2-cost support, which at the end of your turn, or each turn, so I guess could be your opponent's, but you'd have to get a lot of prophecies. If you've played a creature, action, item, and support, play the top card of your deck. I'm guessing that means on that turn, and if it does, then that's quite shit, to be honest. I mean, I might be misunderstanding it, and it might just mean if you've played them in this game, which, if it's that, it's very strong, because playing the top card could mean you just slip out an Alduin or 12-cost card really early. I don't know how that card works properly. I might need to look into it a bit more before I properly say whatever it's actually good or not. If it's all on one turn, it's bad. If not, it's really good. But obviously you would still need to play each of the cards, but with ones like Explore shown off earlier, that's quite easy to do. Then we have, Mobilize, +1/+1, summon, equip the warder with all copies of this, and if it has 3 or more items, draw a card. Yeah, it's a nice little bit of draw power, goes onto its own unit, it's not bad, especially for a 1-cost. Okay, so finally we have the Aldmeri Spellwright for the Aldmeri Dominion, and a new era for the Empire of Cyrodiil. First of all, Aldmeri Spellwright is a 5-cost 3/6 which when your opponent takes damage, you gain 1 magicka this turn, which, you know, that's actually quite nice, as, you know, it's an extra bit of magicka to work with. And if you keep on damaging your opponent, well, card keeps on getting better and better. I'd say it's just nice to have. Obviously, maybe run 3 because there's some really good combos you could do with other Aldmiri Dominion cards to just do direct damage. And then we have a new era, the highest cost card in the entire set, an 11 cost action, action, that's what it is, which when played shuffles all creatures on the field into your deck. I originally thought this was just going to be quite lame, but now I have played a couple of games with it in a deck that was requested and will be dropping on Thursday, and it's a lot of fun. It's quite amusing just watching everything they built up just go plop right into your deck, and with the correct, like say, conscription combos, it's really powerful as well. But that's just going to end the video there. Obviously I want to try and keep Legends alive as long as I can, so I'm going to keep it up at least until the end of this year. I don't know after that. But if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe, it really helps, and I'll see you next time.